Hello, everyone. Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Jess Rodriguez. She is the founder and creator of Goddess Girl Talk. She works with impact-driven women to build their businesses online. Good morning, Jess. How are you doing today?
Hey, Brad. I'm so great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How's your morning been so far?
Amazing. It's been super great, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm excited to chat with you, and yeah, I was definitely just looking forward to this.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate having you as a guest.
Thank you.
So you are the founder and creator of Goddess Girl Talk. Can you tell us what your program, your business is all about?
Sure. So I started working with entrepreneurs about 3 years ago to build their businesses online in the personal development sector. So that looks like coaches and entrepreneurs who want to share their message and really see transformation in the world through their content or potentially their coaching. And I created Goddess Girl Talk as an extension of Coachable, which is my original company that I co-founded with my partner. And Goddess Girl Talk is the extension of that for an opportunity to work with only women so that we can really focus on balancing our masculine and feminine energies to be in action while also honoring our process and our flow and freedom as we create that kind of impact. So it's a lot of fun. It's expression based. So we talk a lot about language, about how you show up through the kind of impact that you want to make. And it's been really beautiful to have what I say is authentic Goddess Girl Talk, the kind of conversations and the kind of leadership that has you covering the, let's say, breakdown and breakthrough of what it's like to be someone who has experienced trauma and triumph. So in that context, Goddess Girl Talk is really just a place for us to be completely ourselves in the light and the dark as we position ourselves to be in leadership in whatever area we want to really take on in the world.
I love it. I love it. Now, you were saying you had a business that you were partnered with someone in a business before this. Is Goddess Girl Talk now just your world, or are you partnered with someone for that as well?
Yeah, no. So Goddess Girl Talk is my world.
Okay.
And and Coachable is another company that I started with my fiance, whose name is Marcos.
Okay.
So so Coachable is for all entrepreneurs who are building their businesses, right? My two partners are men, and we're epic powerhouse team. Mm-hmm. So Goddess Girl Talk was my all right, I'm going to create something for me and my ladies.
Yeah.
And essentially they walk the same lines in terms of what we do and what we're out to achieve. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Now, how long has Coachable been running? And you said Goddess Girl Talk's been up and running for 3 years now?
So Coachable has been 3 years.
Okay.
And I created Goddess Girl Talk about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the beginning of 2019,
mm-hmm.
I was like, it's fantastic. Like, I love Coachable to death. And there were certain elements, once you get that creativity bug, or you're officially an entrepreneur, you're like, oh, I want to create this, and I want to create this, and I want to create this, right? Yeah. And then you do, right? And so that's how Goddess Girl Talk came about. Yeah.
Okay. Now, is Goddess Girl Talk strictly online based?
So it depends. We have certain experiences that are in person. So for example, when we work together to go from, creating whatever it is that you're going to do as a business model all the way to launching it, throughout that process, we have Bachata Souls, which is a movement experience that I host. Okay. We have something called Divine Dining, where the girls get together to have dinner.
That's awesome.
We have a photography. It's called Finally You Photography and Videography, where we shoot some content for the campaign that we launch together in a way that has them just see themselves taking on the leadership that they are signing up for.
Amazing. So you work with women at business at all different levels of the business, starting from the ground up, or they've already kind of established somewhat of a brand and you just help them take it further. I think that's amazing. All different levels. It must be very interesting to work with the different women at different levels in business too.
Yeah, I find that regardless of where they're at, it's often not online. And so, or it's been online, but not so much with intention. So we say words like intention coming from the heart, and it's beautiful to have intention coming from the heart. So let's say I want to start a business because I have the intention of seeing transformation in the world. Amazing. Yeah. However, and so then to go back to the masculine feminine conversation we started, that is very feminine. There is something, a deep desire within you. But the intention within the masculine looks like saying, I know I actually am acting on structures and strategies that are going to support me in executing this, which is in the masculine, it's action-based, it's very certain. So I find that the women that I work with, whether they've started a business or not, they're intention-based within their feminine because they have a deep desire to act with intention, but not because they have started and actually put pieces in place to make sure that they are effortlessly effective. And so then they don't see that they're effective or they're not seeing results. And at that point we work together and they essentially say, okay, what's going wrong here? Because I thought I had it, this is my brand, it's not working. And I end up taking them right back to the beginning. And we still follow the same process. So it's been really special to, be kind of like a let's say grounding foundation for wherever anyone's at. It's like, this is just a solid foundation, and you can't go wrong with a solid foundation.
No, exactly. You got to start with a solid foundation before you can go any further, right? I love that. So what is your why for creating Goddess Girl Talk?
So I love this. This is a really great story. So since I was working with Coachable, and Coachable is more of a, let's say, we're like an upbeat apple type of energy, right? Okay. Yeah. And I found that as I looked around at the women in my community who were just entrepreneurs in their own areas, and also I found within many of my clients that the women were not being fully expressed as their woman first. Okay. They were becoming or putting on the energy of an entrepreneur. They were becoming very masculine, actually. And I found that they were all fitting the same, let's say, idea of what a female entrepreneur is. It was like hashtag boss babe, pencil skirt, like button down shirt. They just became, taking the stereotype. Photo, laptop. Yeah, like total stereotype. And I was just really uncomfortable with how I felt like none of them were actually authentically themselves. So they're posting about authenticity, but they're fitting into this mold. And so something's out of alignment. And the more that I would speak to them, the more they would talk to me about how they wanted to discover more of their feminine energy. Because at the time I had already started Bachata Soul, which is a bachata class for women to explore their sensuality. Okay. So they were already speaking to me about feminine energy and what it would, and how they want more of that in their lives. So I was really intrigued at the fact that they would go into leadership without that balance in the first place. So I decided to create Goddess Girl Talk because I really wanted to just have a space where I felt like I could go to someone and be like, when how someone says to you, oh, how are you? And you're like, yeah, I'm good. How are you? And I am good. Things are good. It's like, well, are they really good?
Surface talk. It's just surface talk, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm the kind of person where I'm like, if I'm like dealing with burnout, I'd be like, oh, you know what? I'm burnt out. And yesterday I cried all day. And then tomorrow I have a lot to do. So today I'm going to watch Netflix all day because tomorrow I've got like 12 calls and I'm busy. And it's like, I'm just black and white about my truth. So I really wanted to create a community of women who know that they could be empowered in leadership while still being and honoring themselves as women first.
I love it. That's amazing.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name for the business?
So I was, at first I didn't have a name for what it was going to be, but I did keep saying I want to have Goddess Girl Talk, which for me, and it's interesting. When we think of the word goddess, we kind of have this like fairy, light, beautiful image in our mind of what a goddess is. But the truth is goddesses are equally destructive as they are beautiful, right? They're also dark. They're also aggressive. And it's very telling to the wholeness that makes up who we are as people. So because my intention was to have women as in love with their darkness as they are their light, I chose the word goddess because goddesses truly are the embodiment of someone who is fully in their darkness as they are in their light. And then girl talk is because I really am just like, regardless of what we're talking about, whether we're talking about business and impact, or we're talking about emotions and trauma, or we're talking about, joy and the weather, like no matter what we're talking about, for me, the element or energy of girl talk is like, we're going back and forth. I'm here for you. We're chatting. Like, let's not take things too seriously. And yet let's talk about the deepest shit ever.
I love it. I love the name. I think it's amazing.
Thank you.
So I got to ask, I come from a corporate background, as we were talking before we went on live. I came from a corporate background, and I saw a lot. I mean, I personally think it's still pretty pathetic that in 2020, there's still not enough women in positions of power in corporations, C-suite level positions. And in my experience in the corporate world, I saw a lot of women tearing other women down instead of lifting them up to help them succeed. It blew my mind, and it boggles my head that women are still not supporting each other, but tearing each other down because they're succeeding and they're not, or whatever the case may be. Do you find that a lot? Do you come across that much?
So I used to. It was like the story of my life. And I think that, and now I don't so much, because I've created a community of people around me that that we speak the same language, we have the same goals, and we are just in the same mindset of how when one person wins, we all win.
Right.
And that's my kind of motto around Goddess Girl Talk as well, why I do it in groups, because when one of us wins, we all win.
Right.
And that's really powerful. However, it's really interesting and also very simple. As women, we've been in competition for centuries. So, there's this concept called the sister wound, where we literally are wounded as sisters. We have been competing to survive, literally to survive. Like, if we go back enough centuries, we're talking about death or life, right? We're talking, and so then through ancestral, trauma and just the passing on of stories and the passing on of memories, we are holding on to that same trauma. And it's not that far ago. I mean, I can look at my mother's generation, my grandmother's generation alone and see how they were still just fighting to survive.
Yeah.
And I would say that our generation now, anyone who is in, let's say, a relevant position of leadership or just work right now, we're the first, let's say, generation that can choose to work together. Like, we actually have choice.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really important to acknowledge, where it's not really our fault that we are the way that we are. It's not like we have bad intention. We just really have never, ever in history seen otherwise.
That's an interesting perspective. Thank you. I've always wondered this, and I've asked different women the question, and women have told me that, this has been going on for so long. We've always been in competition. So it's interesting to hear the different thought processes and perspectives around that from different women. I don't know. I like I said, I still think it's horrible that there's not enough women in positions of power in the corporate world today in the year 2020. It's pathetic.
Yeah. And then at that point, it's like, it is also then responsibility of men to say, we see you and we want you to participate, because we can only, we're competing because, again, it's just a woman to woman, but the positions are still filled. So it's then at that point meant for a man, if he is shifting positions, or let's say inviting someone to take on a position, then they consider more women. So this is also a conversation, on that end in terms of positioning. It's, are the men willing to choose us? And then within, the competition, can we just begin to heal that sister wound?
Yeah. I love it. It needs to happen. There needs to be, and I think the shift is starting, but I don't think it's coming quick enough. I think it needs to start. The ball needs to roll a little bit quicker, and the change needs to happen a little quicker, I think.
Yeah. I feel like one of the elements of, I don't know they're Generation Z. I don't know how to call like anyone who is, let's say, under 20, but one of the factors of their, let's say, generation is that they're very gender neutral.
Yeah.
And I find that is going to be when we really see change, because they don't care. They truly, the men don't care equally as the women.
Yeah.
So are we going to see radical transformation within the next 10 years? Possibly, but I don't think from the companies that have been around for longer than 10. I feel like they are really going to lead the way in that movement, and that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So Jess, can you briefly walk me through your process when working with your clients? How does the process go? A brief overview from start to finish when you get approached by a client.
Cool. So my first and my, two pillars that are really important to consider are, one, how can we make the business an extension of you? And two, how can we make your business effortlessly effective? Those are my two main questions. And so the first half of the process is getting clear on who the voice of your goddess is, which means filtering out any opinions and beliefs and ways of being that are not actually yours, so that when you do show up, you know that you are creating from what is an extension of your authentic communication, so that looking back, you won't say, oh, what was I doing here? Or you won't find it hard to make content, because one of the biggest things that get in our way is feeling like we don't have anything to say. So the first half of the process looks like getting clear on what you have to say individually as a woman, just separate from your business. And then we create what I call our pillars, so that what you choose to focus on within your way of being become pillars of your brand and of your expression. Then we start moving into, okay, we're clear on what makes up the business being an extension of you, so that it's authentically yours. Let's put things in place so that it can be effortlessly effective. And we get clear on, your carved market and your dream client, your business model, your creative expression through the kind of content and branding you're taking on. And overall, we work on creating a social impact campaign. And a social impact campaign supports you in being creative and consistent, so that you can start positioning yourself in your community through all of the different areas that we worked on, and then show up powerfully over a period of time to launch whatever it is that you created with me.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's pretty in-depth. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's start to finish, because there's no, in my opinion, there's no like, let's just do this part, or let's just do this part,
Yeah.
It really is something that moves together. So it's difficult to take one piece out. I would feel like I'm not giving everything I know, and I'm a giver, so I'm cool with just being like, take it all.
Yeah. So what excites and inspires you about working with and helping women?
So I love witnessing women witness them. And we kind of spoke about this, in that feeling you get when women look at the photos you take and you're like, wow, I can't believe this is me. So you get that same feeling that I'm just, left without words of what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And as they start seeing what they've shared, and, oh my God, I said that, or, oh my God, I closed a client, or, all of the moments where they just see results that they didn't believe they could achieve. And those are the moments that make me so excited, because you evolve as a woman, you evolve as a human being, right? It's not just your business. This is now a reflection of you. So I really get excited to see how they grow outside of what we create, because that's really the best part of it all.
Isn't that such an incredibly rewarding feeling?
Yeah.
It's the best. You can't really put it into words. It's indescribable, but it feels so incredible that you were able to see the potential in someone and show them that, yes, you can do this, and coach them and guide them through. And then when they actually do it, it's like, see, I told you could do it.
Exactly. And it involves being a little bit like, it's so funny. And I love this. One of my clients coined it, and the rest of them were like, yep, that's it. So she called me a tough love Care Bear. And when she said that, I was like, oh my goodness, you're right. Like, that's perfect. Because I am honestly, again, balancing that masculine and feminine, I got to get them out of the way. You know, sometimes they get in their heads and it's normal, right? We constantly just, all right, what's next? We're pushing that next, you know, level. We're jumping off that cliff. And for me, I have to share that tough love to say, look, like, this is what we're getting done, so that we don't stay in our head or procrastinate. And so when I'm giving feedback or essentially really even my coaching style is very, very grounded and also a little like tough love, because there's an element of business that is tough love. And it's like, it's not all fairies and rainbows. So
no, it's not.
Figure out that first. And know that we come from a place of love nonetheless. We're all still in this game to see transformation in the world, which is telling about what our intention is.
Well, we are our own worst enemies. Let's be honest. We get in our own heads. We get in our own way so much. It's hard. You just got to learn to get out of your own way. And that's a tough thing to do, to get in that headspace and get in that mindset where it's okay. I've got to get out of my own way and just do it. Stop putting it off. Stop putting yourself down. Just get out of your way and do it. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some of the challenges you faced early on with the Goddess Girl Talk business, and how did you overcome those?
So my main challenges were just working through creating that business as an extension of myself. I hadn't experienced that yet. I didn't see people making content on that. It just really felt like I had to find people, you know, you'll hear this all the time. I had to find my voice. I had to find my place. Yeah. And that was really it. And because there was no, let's say, I didn't feel like there was a process that resonated with me in order to do that. It took longer. And that's why coaching is so powerful, because whatever it took you to do something, you then cut that time in half for your clients. So the system I created to, you know, find your voice and create that business as an extension of yourself, it takes 2 weeks. We're done. It's like so clear, so epic. But for me, I was like, who's my dream client if I don't know who I am or what that is for me? What am I creating that's different than Coachable? And what is that main message? How do I want to share that main message? I'm also not, you know, as much as I talk about business and your standard, you know, dream client and, you know, compelling content and all the things that you might hear business coaches teach, my content doesn't necessarily reflect that. I still talk a lot about feminine leadership, and I love poetry. I share a lot of poetry. So my struggle was finding out how I could stay in my expression, which was poetic or also, you know, philosophical, as opposed to starting to say, all right, this is how you find your dream client. And like, let's talk about positioning, you know, there's still an element about how I communicate that isn't your standard business coach. Right. So I was definitely struggling in how to best communicate. And I went ahead and used my own systems. Again, thankfully. Coachable was already a business development agency. So I had the tools to work through where I was getting stuck. But nonetheless, I got stuck in the same place as everyone else does. You know, who's that perfect dream client? Okay. What does my content look like? I have structures to make sure that you are creating effective content. It looks like talking about certain breakdowns and breakthroughs, the theories around them, having call to actions. I have the structures, but for me, it was being in my feminine and filling it with things that felt like that extension of myself. Yeah.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. What would you say is the biggest pain point that you're dealing with in your business these days? I mean, aside from what we're dealing with in the world, COVID, but before that, before this whole thing hit, what was your biggest pain point you were dealing with?
Biggest pain point I was dealing with would be, okay, so I would say that consistency is one of the biggest issues.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the main business model is a social impact campaign. That's what I create for people. And so that solves consistency. So as Jess outside of Goddess Girl Talk, consistency is my problem. However, I have social impact campaigns that support me with that. Okay. So that would be, something that it didn't necessarily come up, but it would have if I didn't have that impact campaign. And gratefully with COVID, with everything going on, nothing really has shaken up in my world, only because I was already online. Yeah. And, if anything, more people want to build their businesses online now. So it was a really busy time for us. So for me, mainly, I would say actually it would be getting outside of my business. It would be putting, having some me time, resting, getting a new, let's say, routine going for, the weather's nice. I want to start running outside. And for me, because my business is my baby, I feel like I always put it first.
Yeah.
And so I'll wake up and start working, or I'll start getting an idea, or I'll work on something longer than I need to in the day because I'm passionate about it, or because I want to get it done, or because I'm, just committed.
You're in the zone.
And I bury myself in my work.
Yeah.
And so the fine line between that is when you work from home, technically it's not like you check out, you're like always there.
You're always on.
You're always on. And so it's really just having that off switch, because once then, in any moment, and my partner for Coachable is my fiance, and we live together. So then we go into coachable mode, and I'm just always pretty much working. Yeah.
I think that's a very common thing among entrepreneurs, is that we don't know when to shut down and when to stop. Because let's be honest, you get to a point when you're working and you're putting in all these hours, and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, now you've been working for 12 or 14 hours, and you're not being as productive as you could be, because you've just gone so long. But like you said, you're so in the zone, and you're so excited about what you're doing because it's yours. It's hard to stop.
Yeah.
But we need to learn to train ourselves to do that. I think as entrepreneurs, I think that's a very common thread or common issue among entrepreneurs, is you keep going. I even, for myself, I've done shoots, and then I've come home and put it on dump the images on my computer and then go and sit somewhere for a while. But then I find myself coming back to it a couple hours later, and then I'm working on the images until 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And before I know it, I look at the clock, it's like 3 in the morning. Holy shit. Yeah. I can't believe I've spent all this time working on this, but it's because it doesn't feel like work, because you're so passionate and so in love with what you're doing. But it's also not good. On the other hand, that leads to burnout when you're doing that.
Exactly. And I just, so 100%, there's this technique that I should start using that I don't use, but I know it, and it's really powerful. It's really powerful. It's called a Pomodoro technique, and it's essentially every 25 minutes. Yeah. It comes with a little timer that I actually have. It's a little Apple, but anyways, you could just use your phone, and it puts an alarm every 25 minutes. So you work on something for 25 minutes, you take a 5-minute break, you work on something for an hour, you take a 5-minute break, then another 25 minutes. And it segments your day in a way where your brain, based on how active your brain is, like your brain is only actually active for 25 minutes until you take a break. Right. And that's why we find that we're using all these hours but not getting as much done. So the technique actually supports you in being effective in short periods of time, so that doesn't happen. So that essentially, okay, if I had to snooze my alarm 3 times, that means 25. That means for the most part, I worked through an hour, give or take. Yeah. I would say that those 3 snoozes represent when I'm done. And you would then start creating those, let's say, performance hacks for yourself, so that you can create boundaries for yourself. It's good to know this stuff. It's another thing to apply it, right?
It is, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. You can have all the knowledge, but until you apply it, what good is it?
Exactly.
Right? That's interesting. I should try that.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of to date, your biggest high or your greatest win?
My greatest win is retiring my mom. That was biggest win for sure. It's my biggest why of why I continue, is just being able to maintain that, because I love my mom and she deserves to rest.
Right.
And in my business, I'd say I accomplished a lot very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was, let's say my biggest win. Oh my goodness, it's so difficult. I'm like, I'm loving wins for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
So we created, this is I guess a cute, nah. Oh my goodness, this is difficult. Okay.
Okay, let's just one of your greatest. Many. Yeah. So one of your greatest.
Yeah, I'm emotionally attached, so I'm like, oh
it's like asking you to pick your favorite, asking a mother to pick their favorite child, right?
Exactly. Okay, but here's a good one. So I have clients, let's say all over, for the most part, Canada, the States, or Costa Rica a lot as well. So I've traveled so many times in the past 3 years to go to my clients, whether we're shooting so we'll do their business development, then we'll shoot their content. And so we've traveled to Costa Rica like 3 times, and Jamaica 3 times, and New York and California so many times just to shoot our clients. And it's really, really nice to get to travel.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and because our clients are such amazing people, it's like, wow, I get to just come hang out with you, and I get to shoot some stuff, and I'm building your business. And it's like we built this epic relationship. So the high definitely was traveling, and in traveling, just having this kind of global community that is more like a family than anything.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty incredible win for sure. It's a win-win-win situation. I mean, meeting your clients in person and hanging out and getting to travel, and it's like you've got the whole ball of wax there.
Yeah, exactly. It makes it, again, so much more than just work, right?
Yeah, for sure. Sure. And that, I think, when you're passionate about your business and what you're doing, it absolutely comes through in your work, and your clients can see it. And if your clients can see that you're passionate and you love what you do, then that's a win right there.
Exactly.
What do you wish you had known when you first started out that you know now?
What I wish I know. Oh, great one. Competition doesn't exist.
Yes.
Only collaboration exists.
Yes. Competition or collaboration over competition.
100%. Like, wow. So right back to what we talked about in terms of the sister wound and, women competition. When I started this, it was like, well, why would someone work with me versus that girl who's doing the same thing and who is already going and already has their message? And it, that's one of the biggest things that comes up for everyone.
Yeah.
It became, I would say it's my biggest, it's still a big kryptonite for me.
Yeah.
Because I also dealt with, relationships that fell apart, or girlfriends that, didn't end up, let's say, like having my back, whatever that meant at the time. And so I just felt like I was in very fight or flight mode when I started entrepreneurship, because it was like, oh, well, if I'm running my own business, that means I'm on my own, which means that this is, again, me against the world, which is story of my life. Right. And that's totally not the case. So I definitely keep reminding myself, when you start at the Instagram, that deadly Instagram scroll, and you're like,
yeah.
And, just remember. And I actively practice this. Like, if I love what someone's doing, then it's a great opportunity to collaborate.
Yeah.
Thinking that they're competition.
Yeah.
You get in your head about why you aren't good enough to do this. And as opposed to thinking, wow, like this would be an epic person to partner with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I struggled a lot with the whole competition mindset for the first couple of years. And I think in this last year of my business, I've come to realize that, you know what? The only competition I have is me. As long as I'm improving, that's all that matters. As long as I can look back at my work and say, okay, I've come this far now. That's all that I don't. Yes, of course I look at other photographers' work and I get inspiration and I get inspired by other photographers' work and things like that. But I don't look at any other photographers as my competition, because honestly, I believe that there's more than enough work to go around for everybody. And I think that's not just photography. I think in every area of business, there's more than enough, because no other photographer is me. No other photographer has the same vision I do. no other photographer sees an image the way I do, and vice versa. Yeah. So, and let's be honest, you're not every person is going to be your client.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Once you get over that mindset, you're winning.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because when someone will say like, oh, I help people do X, or I help everyone, you don't.
No.
You don't. And that's why it's so important to get clear on who that archetype is that you help, because that person that you thought was competition the whole time, they serve a completely different archetype.
Yeah.
And, so it's really beautiful to get clear on, again, if your business truly is an extension of yourself, then that's never something you have to worry about. If it's not, then totally, you're following a cookie cutter that, someone would go to X person the way they would go to you. And yes, at that point you have competition because you didn't create it authentically as an authentic extension of yourself. Right. Which is where we get in fear, because then at that point it's like you're copying because you didn't do the work, and then you feel those. So it's so many things about, again, coming back to that foundation, getting clear, actually clear, like really clear on what it is you're doing and how it's yours, so that never comes up ever again.
I love that, because it took me a while to get there. It took me a couple of years to get to that point. And I mean, that's not to say that I never, ever fall back into that or think that, because you do periodically, but I think for the most part, I've overcome that part of me getting in my own way in regards to that issue. So it takes a lot of work. It takes time, but you're right. When you do become completely crystal clear on your why and what you're doing, and it makes a world of difference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's go down a not so serious road. I just got some random questions for you that are non-business related. What sound or noise do you absolutely love?
What sound or noise? Oh my goodness. City and color. Okay. Can it be music?
Sure, of course.
Okay. City and color is like I would say like the sound of my heartbeat. Oh my goodness. So nostalgic. Yeah. Man and his guitar is just, wow. So City and Color, most definitely, I would say is like, yeah.
Okay. What would you say is one of your favorite words?
Quixotic.
Quixotic?
Yeah, quixotic. And it's because I am so like, okay, I'm going to give you the dictionary definition.
Okay.
Quixotic. Because I feel like it's me outside of everything I create. It's exceedingly idealistic, unrealistic, and impractical. So like pretty much how I translate that is I am a dreamer. Yeah. And if I say that the sky is blue, it's blue. But if I say it's purple, no one can tell me otherwise.
I love it.
And it's like if I want to dream big and it seems unpractical, then like leave me alone, because I'm going to do it anyways. So I feel like, and when you say it, it just feels sexy.
Quixotic. Yeah, I like it. I have never heard that word before.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You've got your convictions and no one's going to change your mind.
Yeah, exactly.
What is your favorite curse word?
My favorite curse word, and I can say it right now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, my favorite curse word is, oh my goodness. I don't think I have one. I don't think I curse a lot. I'd say I say like fuck a lot, like in a moment, like fuck. But no, I don't actually do that a lot. So, no. Because you want to know why? I speak a lot of Spanglish, and in Spanish, curse words are not as violent. Like at least in Colombian conversation, we use a lot of cute words.
Yeah.
Curse. So I actually would say I don't curse a lot.
Okay. What are you not very good at?
What am I not very good at? I'm messy.
You're messy?
I'm messy. Like I cook and it's just like, wow, what happened?
The kitchen blew up.
Yeah. I kind of like, it's funny. Because my partner is super clean, so he like will spot this out. When I get home, it's like my bag. I don't know what happens. I literally don't know what happens in my mind, but it's like a trail just lead all the way to wherever I stop. It's like my bag is like on one piece of the floor and my jacket is on another, and then the key is somewhere else. And literally looks like a Easter egg hunt to where I just stopped.
Jess leaves a trail of destruction behind her.
Kind of, So so I'd say it's definitely that.
What is one of your favorite quotes?
My favorite quote would have to be, so the first one that came up is "No man is an island."
Okay.
No man is an island.
Right.
We're so intertwined in our community that as much as we may think that we are, us against the world, we're not.
If you could have one superpower, what would that be?
Superpower. Could I make it up? So I feel like what I would say would be like the power to have people to convince people to do things.
Okay.
Yeah, because then I would go to all the governments and be like, put the world first, and they would just do it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, save the cows, done. Save the whales, done. Save the animals, done. Yeah.
Yeah. What is a passion of yours that you rarely share with people, and why not?
Passion of mine that I rarely share with people. Oh, so animal rights. I was an animal rights activist for like 5 years.
Oh.
And I rarely share it with people because it's just such a touchy subject. And I was on the front line for so long, protesting and going to the vigils, just doing the whole animal rights bit that, and I received so much resistance that I literally just broke down. After the 5 years, I just broke down, and I was scared to even go there in conversation, in just even sharing my opinion. And it actually created people would only speak to me. They'd start conversations with me and justify why they eat meat or wear fur and it just, for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like how when moms say, I had a baby and now no one asks about me. Yeah. It's like that same situation. So I rarely talk about it because I literally got traumatized from it. Yeah. And, but yeah, I'm really passionate about wildlife. Another one of my goals is to open a sanctuary for wildlife. So I want to have my own local sanctuary for raccoons and squirrels and just any wildlife that comes through that we're looking to rehabilitate back into the wild.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Can you share a situation that's occurred in your life that you feel provides insight as to your character?
Yes. So insight to my character. So at pretty much, I would say a massive defining moment for me was at 11 years old. I realized, I put the pieces together as to why my parents were separated, why I was so involved in the court system, and why I had such specific rules on seeing my father. I just didn't understand ever. And I grew up such a daddy's girl. And at 11, I realized that he was not a good person. It all came together for me that he was abusive, and he just did, and that it was actually for my safety that I wasn't allowed to do the fun things that you would imagine you would want to do with your father. Yeah. And I ended my relationship with him. I was like, I don't want to continue this relationship. And I remember that since then, I was just so strong in my stand and in my communication and in what I believe would be just what I would want for my life. And considering I was so young, when everything comes back to that moment, to the moment where I decided that my mom, I was going to put her first, that I was going to again stand in, at the time became independence and, grew into that responsibility and self-awareness. So that moment for me was pinnacle and definitely changed direction in terms of how much I was going to just step into choices at an early age.
That's pretty big. I mean, to make a choice like that at a young age, that's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's like, now it's beautiful. And it, I would say, became the kind of benchmark to how I take on big things.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
When I'm dancing.
When you're dancing? Okay.
I love bachata. Bachata is like, oh my goodness. I love the kind of fluidity that happens between a lead and a follow when you're in movement. And when I dance bachata, I feel like I am in my most sensual and certain and balanced self.
Yeah.
So I definitely see that goddess come through me as she dances. And then I leave the dance floor feeling like I can dance through life because of what I just experienced.
I love it. Mm-hmm. How would you describe yourself in one word?
One word. Rational.
Rational. Okay.
Rational. Yeah. So, which is funny because that's the opposite of quixotic. Yeah. I am very rational. However, like I want to be quixotic. So I play in the world of quixotic thinking, but the truth is I'm very rational. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What would you say is the best advice you've ever received, or one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
So my mom, and I actually have a matching tattoo with her.
Oh, very cool.
Which actually, you know what? This might be my favorite quote, actually. So in Spanish, it's una dama no dice que está llena, dice que está satisfecha. And in English, that means a lady never says she's full, she says she's satisfied. And the theory around that is that we don't need to overindulge in things to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that there is that balanced threshold in you know, what you choose to pursue and just being satisfied and having that kind of class. Like, so una dama is a classy way of saying a lady, a woman.
Yeah.
It's like class lives within your ability to know where your limits are, pretty much.
I love that. That's awesome. It sounds amazing in Spanish. Sounds much better in Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
How would you define success? What does that word mean to you?
For me, success means that you are thriving in your life. You're thriving. You're causing people to thrive around you, and that you're seeing that ripple effect happen in the world. So for me, true success is seeing the ripple effect reach the earth.
Okay.
So that I'm not, because the earth. And that's because of how connected I am to the earth. I feel like we're in a place where we actually can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What does the word empowerment mean to you?
For me, empowerment means shifting from breakdown to breakthrough. So being in a place, because I don't think that we're ever going to only experience breakthrough. So you live an empowered life, which means you're always positive, I think is impossible.
Yeah.
So it's not so much avoiding the darkness, but being able to transition from darkness to light.
Well, like you said earlier, you have to have the darkness with the light. You have to have the good with the bad. You have to experience pain to feel pleasure. So it's yin and yang type thing, right? You have to have both sides of it.
Exactly.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice, what would that piece of advice be?
That piece of advice would be, honestly, I would say you are doing it spot on. I honestly have so many moments where I look back and I'm like, wow, how did I make that decision? Or how did I know that?
Yeah.
Like, there are so many moments where I feel like, you know, whoever was with me to make those choices, like in a spiritual sense, were very in alignment, because as I grew up, I set myself up to succeed in what that meant for me. So, you know, I started working young so that I could, again, provide financially for my mom, and that meant I lost out on friends, and that meant that all these things that in my mind, what I always said to myself was, it's worth it. You know, your mom comes first. It's worth it. It's going to pay off. And it really did. And even when I lost those friends and I felt like I was alone, I was like, there's no one I'd rather be with other than my mom. And I agree. Like now I look back and I'm like, wow, what would I say to her? Like, be open to spending more time with your friends. Like, no, I really, really loved that I made that choice. I also spent a lot of time with my grandmother I spent a lot of time with my grandmother because I knew how much I loved her, and I knew that obviously she was going to pass one day. And then when she did, I was able to turn and say, I actually gave her all of me.
No regrets.
No regrets. And so it was like, yeah. So if I were to give myself any advice, I would actually just give myself an acknowledgement to say, like, you're doing it, and you're exactly what you're doing. Exactly.
You're on point. That's pretty amazing that you're able to look back at your life and say that, you know what, I think I did pretty damn good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And lastly, if you were to deliver your last 30-second speech to the world, what do you think that last 30 seconds would sound like?
Okay. It would be, we are Mother Earth, and we deserve to know what it feels like to care for the earth as much as we desire to care for ourselves. And that would look like choosing to thrive with humanity and nature side by side. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what it would be. And I'd invite everyone to consider what their life could be like when they are directly supporting a human and an animal. So, and which I feel like is very general, but the quick psychology behind that is, I feel as women, and this is not just women, but in my lens, right? In my lens as a woman, the amount of capacity I have to love and to nurture is so deep that I can take on adopting animals in my sanctuary and adopting children and know that I'll love them as much as my own. And I feel that in our world today, that's something that we really need is to adopt more children and take care of more animals. So I essentially adopt animals and children. So that's what I would say, to any woman who is like, what could I do to be that version of who I see, my goddess to be, would be to take on love to that level.
I love it. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jess. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for sharing your journey, your road, your insights, and about your business. You've got an incredible story, and I wish you all the success going forward with your business.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this. Has been a beautiful conversation. It's been beautiful to think future, think past, be in the present, and share with you. So I'm so grateful for what you do and the space that you hold, and for everyone listening. I'm really, truly grateful to be a part of your community now. Thank you, Jess. Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography Podcast. My guest today has been Jess Rodriguez. She is the founder and creator of Goddess Girl Talk. She works with impact-driven women to build their businesses online. Thank you, Jess. It's been great chatting with you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you. We'll talk soon.